everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa's Silhouette Spot for all things art, where I love sharing art from my heart. Let's grab the light blue and some white. And there's two ways of doing this. You can paint your entire background by dipping your brush in blue and white at the same time and painting the whole background and the edges. You're going to want this to dry, and then you can trace your design on, use the tracer, freehand, grab a paper plate. There's various ways. Or you can use the canvas pre-traced the way it came, and just be conscious of your circle. Basically, the circle is the most important thing, the circle for your snow globe. So it's up to you if you want to just go ahead, go for it, and paint the entire background, and then freehand or trace back on your design, or if you want to trace around it. I like to make broad strokes. We want our background to have a little character to it. We don't want to overmix our blue and white. We want to see various shades. I know you may not be able to see that with the lighting and my camera. And we're going to go over the bottom of this with snow, so you really don't have to go all the way down to the bottom of your canvas. But we want to have variations in the blue and the white and different shades. Now you can trace on the design from your tracer, or you can grab a paper plate or any other round object that you have that will fit and trace it lightly on here with pencil. I can see mine. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I can see the pencil. And if you trace yours on with pencil, you'll be able to see it too. Then I'm just going to freehand in the stand to the bottom of our snow globe. We want the sides to angle out and the bottom to be a little bit rounded. I'm going to trace my circle. I'm using the chisel edge of the brush to paint around the snow globe part of the picture. And then I'm going to outline the base. Okay. And then I'm adding snow down here to the bottom. Now I'm going to pick up white and paint in the entire bottom, a little bit up the snow globe because the snow globe is resting in the snow. We're going to paint the entire bottom with some thick white paint. We want it to look like our snow globe is resting in a mound of snow. I'm just adding snow here to the bottom. I'm going around the sides a little bit. If I don't go around the sides now, I will forget. And then I'll be like, oh, what happened to my picture? Okay. Put a little snow for a base in my globe. If you don't have access to a snowflake stencil, just use the small brush, some white paint, and we're just going to make a series of hand painted snowflakes. And those are a cross and an X. And then I grab the back of the brush and I put a dot on the end of each of the lines. You can do these in various sizes, and you can make them a little bit more detailed if you want. So I'm going to show you again a cross and an X. And if you want, you can put a series of V's on each line. This gives them a little bit more detail. And again, you can make these as small or as large as you want. You could even do a half a one. That's kind of going off the page. It's totally up to you. And remember, no two snowflakes look alike anyway, so it's okay to be creative. Okay? And then you can do one kind of like off the page. And then just put the dots at the end. Okay? Stencil brush and my stencil, and I'm going to use the white paint that I have out already. I'm turn this around so I don't mess it up. Okay? Here we go. When I do stencils, so first of all, you want to always blot your stencil off on cardboard, paper towel, copy paper, because light coats of paint so it doesn't bleed. So you want it to be nice and defined. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of paint and then I blot it off on whatever I have handy. Whether it's a piece of cardboard. Sometimes I'll even do it on whatever I'm using to cover my workspace with. Because sometimes you think you have enough paint, a good amount of paint, and it's usually too much. You want very light coats of paint. And maybe I'll do another half a one off of here. There we go. Okay. Put that in water. And I'm going to grab a pencil. And I'm going to just sketch in where I want my snowman. There we go. Can you see that? I left room for the hat. And then I did my circles for the base coat of my snowman. Like I said, I do have a tracer, but I'm going to keep going freehand with this. And I'm just using the brush in two different directions. I'm letting the brush determine the size. For the bigger one on the bottom, I pull it out a little bit. And there we go. I have the base coat down for my snowman. And it doesn't matter if you have a little bit of blue showing through your white down here. It gives your snow a little bit of dimension. How cute that looks already. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit of this. Look at me blue. Tiny bit. And I'm going to just put it on the corner of my brush. And I'm just going to shade the one side of my snowman. I'm just adding a little bit of blue also to the snow down here. And it's giving it a little bit of dimension in here. There we go. So I'm going to get cardinal red out, a little bit of it in here. I like this cardinal red. It's a little deeper than the apple red. Sometimes when I'm doing Christmas and I use an apple red, it's the only thing I have, I add a tiny, tiny, tiny tad of black to it. But a little bit of black goes a long way. So you'd only need like a drop of it. I'm going to try to keep my white from mixing with my red because we definitely don't want pink for this. There we go. Okay. Might need a little bit more of my red. everywhere. Oh, slipped. So I will wait for that to dry and fix it. Okay, I need my liner brush. I need some, oh, I'm not gonna use that. I need some dark brown. And I'm gonna pick up white on the edge. And I'm going to put in the little stick arms. Then I'm going to pick up the brown. I'm going to get a little white on the other side. There we go. For my little arms. Put out some black for the hat. I'm going to turn him upside down to work on his hat. Otherwise, I'll end up putting my arm in the painting. And I want my hat to be a little wider on the top. Okay? Then I'm going to go in and put buttons. And I like to make my buttons, instead of doing them in a straight line, I like to make my buttons on a little bit of an arc. Kind of gives a little bit of a, I hate to say realistic, it's a snowman, but a little bit of a curve. The snowman's not straight up and down. And that. And then I'm just going to add a little smile, a dotting smile. There we go. And I need a tiny, tiny bit of orange. I'll show you how easy it is to do the nose. And I'm going to load my liner brush with this orange. And then I'm just going to pick up a tiny bit of brown and get it on the edge of the brush as well. And then I'm just kind of going to like lay it down. And bring it up to a point. And there's my little charcoal on my carrot nose. And I'm going to put in some eyes. I use the back of the brush for that, so they're nice and round. And there's my face. I could fill in my hat. I have to wait for this to dry a little bit before I can finish my hat, because I want to put the band on it and it's way too wet and black. Can I fix my white yet on the bottom? Probably need a few coats because it's a little harder to cover red with white. There we go. See? And we don't have pink. I'm going in. I'm just adding some highlights to my base, to my hat rim now. I need a little brush. Yeah, this is good. Okay. Pick up a little bit of the white. It was still a little wet, but I like how it is looking blended and shaded. So I'm going to go with it. Up a little bit of white. And I'm just, there we go. Here's his hat. Pick up some black on my liner brush. And I'm going to paint in a lantern. So I want to make sure this is nice and dry because I'm actually resting my palm on the canvas. So I have nice straight lines. Okay, looking like our lamppost is a little bit under the snow. That's okay. Then we're going to do the top part. Okay. There we go. There's my lantern. Then I'm going to paint my post. So, oh, I shouldn't have put that middle line. I should have put a candle in there first. I can still. I just have to wait for it to dry. There we go. Oh, my snowman's looking really cute. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. I want to put a little bit of snow on my snowman's nose and branches. And I'm going to take, I guess I'll do it in white also. Need a little more white. A little bit. That black is dry. And I still have my orange out. So I'm going to just pick a tiny bit of orange out on the point. And there we go. I put some candles in my lantern. Look. To add our scarf, I'm going to pick up our blue paint, or you can do it in red. We're going to color in swish across his neck, and then we're going to add one tail and two tails. Then you can pick up the little bit of blue paint or white paint or whatever color you painted your scarf, and just with the chisel edge, just put some flares at the bottom. Then you can use the back of your brush to add some polka dots, or you can use your liner brush and add stripes. You don't want your stripes to be perfect. It's a knitted scarf. It's just making the illusion of having a pattern on there. And you can do stripes, polka dots, you can leave it solid, whatever you want. Now to add our wreath, we're going to use the larger brush, and we're just going to pounce around in a circle. I'm not getting full coverage. I'm just loosely pouncing. Then I'm going to pick up the other green, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same thing. Just pouncing in a circle. If you get too light, pick up some dark. If you get too dark, pick up some light. I'm going to leave our wreath like that for now. We're going to let that dry so we can add a bow. To add snow within our snow globe, before we're finished, you're just going to grab the back of your paintbrush. You're going to dip it in the white paint, and you're just going to randomly put little white dots all around the background, as many or as few as you want. To paint in our bird, we're going to grab our larger brush or your smaller brush, whatever you're comfortable with, and we're going to paint the whole thing in with our red paint. You want to base coat it in red, fill him in. Try and make his tail as pointy as you can. Okay. I'm going to grab my liner brush, and I'm just going to add his little bird legs with a little black. I'm going to use the back of my brush, and I'm going to add a little bit of an eye. Then I'm going to get the same orange that we did our snowman nose with. You can lighten it up with a little bit of white, that's up to you. There it is. And get out my liner brush, and our beak is going to be, I'm turning this a little bit, a little bit of a triangle. All right, and then just fill that in also. And then his wing gets a little black heart. So I'm going to pick up some black paint, and I'm just going to do one side and then the other side, and there's our bird wing. Isn't it cute? And if you like, you can go in when he's dry and just add a few little highlights. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm just going to pick up some white, and I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight to the back part, a little bit of highlight to the wing, a little bit to the eye, and then a tiny bit to his beak. And there you go. To add the ornaments hanging off his little tree limb arms, you're going to again dip the brush in the red paint, and you can add large ones or small ones. I'm just using it to add little tiny circles. I'm going to go into my black paint, and I'm just going to then connect them to his arm with little black lines. To add the bow, I'm going to get some red paint, and we're just going to paint in 2 triangles. So you want one to the right and one to the left. These are sideways. You're going to fill them in with some paint, and then I'm just going to take my liner brush, and I'm going to add 1 tail and 2 tails. And then you can either put a black dot in the middle, a white dot in the middle, whatever you want. And there we have our wreath with our little red bow.